all, and welcome back. I hope you're all doing really well. Again, I thank you for the love and support on the most recent video. Seriously appreciate it. If you aren't already subscribed and you don't follow me over on Twitter, think about doing so, as there is plenty more videos coming regarding cryptocurrency, and of course, in particular, Hedera. Things are seriously ramping up at the moment. We are seeing massive amounts of sentiment take place over on the likes of social media channels such as Twitter, as Hedera and Hbar in particular continues to gain steam, pushing the project ever further towards the upside, which of course we have inevitably been talking about on here for quite some time. Taking a quick look at the Fear and Greed Index, we're now back at a 30. As we'd seen last month, we'd seen historical lows of extreme fear at 6. If we look at the 30 now on the chart, we can see the last time we were in this sort of territory was back in May, so several months ago now, earlier in the year. Things are starting to rebound very nicely, although this comes with a caveat. As I have alluded to many times in the past, things are still teetering on a knife edge. Global inflation is still a really big concern for a majority of countries, if not all countries across the globe. We have soaring food prices, energy prices and the like, and this will continue to see central banks such as the Fed and the Bank of England push up interest rates in order to combat inflation along the way. If we see these interest rates increase exponentially or extraordinarily in comparison to the estimates of what is priced into the markets, we will see further pain and fall towards the downside, as this helps to stimulate recession fears, etc. So again, my strategy goes completely unchanged. I'm putting in on a daily, if not weekly basis into the particular projects that I invest in for the long term. Of course, Hbar being one of the biggest, it is the biggest position in my portfolio, which shouldn't come as a surprise to any of you. But however, I'm doing that as a means to know that I will be tied up in that position for several years to come, and it's a long-term play for me. I wouldn't go, remortgaging the house in this current environment as it stands. Crypto bubbles, if we look across the board then, green for the majority of the projects. Hbar there we can see up 2.3% on the day, pushing 19% on the week and 17% on the month, so not too bad of a return there at all. Chainlink, very similar performance, 3% on the day, 17% on the week, 18% on the month. Obviously Quant has been doing very well recently. I covered that in a couple of other videos, as well as the other projects we talk on this channel, although I want to focus primarily on Hbar later on in this video. As I said, the sentiment is going nuts at the moment over on Twitter. If we take a look at the Bitcoin dominance, let's get a bit of an insight as to what's happening in these markets at the moment. I did cover this in the previous video, but we can see that the Bitcoin dominance is continuing to fall from when I did that last video. So we can see we're at roughly a 43% Bitcoin dominance as of the last video. We're now down to a 42% Bitcoin dominance, and that's continuing to fall as Ethereum skyrockets in value. Whilst Bitcoin is obviously moving towards the upside, it's not moving as aggressively as Ethereum. And this is starting to point back towards potentially us seeing an alt season. We never really saw a full alt season towards the end of 2021/beginning of this year. And it may be becoming that sort of era or that time again. If it does happen, we will start to see absolutely parabolic gains for a lot of the blue chip layer 1 projects within the space. So that will be projects like Hedera. We may even see the likes of XRP start to take a pump, XLM, projects like that have been around for a long time that traditionally do well during bull market/alt seasons will continue to do well. We can also see here, Bitcoin network did transfer nearly $18 trillion in 2022 so far year to date, which has smashed the record from 2021, which is obviously an entire year. What this tells us is the utility is still here for crypto, despite the fact that throughout the most of 2022, if not all of 2022, we have had downside momentum to the cryptocurrency market. We had a market cap fall below $1 trillion from a $2.5 trillion all-time high. So $1.5 trillion left the industry. We are still seeing trillions of dollars transferred on a pretty archaic blockchain, especially when we've got other use cases in the space like Hedera, which is obviously more secure, faster, scalable, etc. The writing is still on the wall. Things are still happening. Adoption is still taking place. Enterprises are still building, and people are still utilizing and leveraging cryptocurrency for its traits. Majority of what we're seeing in the market at the moment is a macro play. It's got nothing to do with the fact that a project is inherently bad or cryptocurrency is going to get regulated off the face of the earth. It's to do with the macro environment we're seeing at the moment, and it's really important to understand that and place your decisions around what is happening on a global stage. If we look at the network overview, let's swing across into some Hedera related stuff. What we're beginning to see now is average TPS figures in the double digits, obviously albeit very low, just north of 10, and we've seen some max TPS spikes over 100 for the last couple of days. This is obviously that Metrica dashboard. I will leave this link down in the description as it is really, really good. We can still see the average create to consensus time below 4.5 seconds. So transactions are still taking less than 4.5 seconds from the creation of the transaction to finality. Seriously powerful metric and magnitudes faster than the majority of layer ones that currently exist. We can also still see the HCS summary for the services. NFTs are continuing to do very well. We can see Hashforce there has done very well over the last couple of days, contributing a lot of transactions to the service. And of course, we've got DOVU with its staking rewards where it's sending out transactions. And obviously, we've still got source tokens that are doing very well. And obviously, that'll be in the lead up to the end of this week where we'll be seeing SaucerSwap go live. Talking about DEXs and staking, I want to answer some questions, but first of all, I will play this video. So are you ready for the Hbarx yield farm on SaucerSwap Labs? Because it's happening this week. As always, another fantastic promotional video there from CHAINLINK-HEDERA. Plenty of interviews on my channel talking with the team at great length for their CHAINLINK staking solution. If you guys want to check those out and you haven't seen them yet, I urge you to do so, as it gives you more insight as to how these functions work, how they're built behind the scenes, and also what is supporting the rewards at the moment. So the Hbarx yield pool or yield farm is right around the corner. What does this mean? So these are effectively almost like liquidity pools, very similar, in which you stake. It's dual-sided staking. So Hedera's or CHAINLINK-HEDERA's platform is obviously single-sided staking, where you were staking Hbar and you were receiving Hbarx as a reward. With these yield farms, you see Hbar and then Hbarx. You stake equal amounts traditionally of each of those token pairs, and then you receive the rewards for doing so. So this may be that you can stake 1,000 of your Hbarx that's still locked up. You don't have to unstake that Hbarx from the platform. It can remain in there because they are liquid tokens. And then you would go along and also stake 1,000 Hbar at exactly the same time into that yield farm, and then you start earning yield on providing that liquidity to those farms. So that's a very simplified version of what's going on here. But what it does mean is you do not need to unstake your Hbarx's from the platform. Of course, you can do so, but you will be able to utilize those directly on SaucerSwap's platform, which is brilliant to see. Another question that I've been getting asked a lot about recently, because the DOVU token price has been increasing, and of course the team doesn't sleep, they keep developing, which is obviously brilliant in general. How do I get hold of DOVU tokens? Now, of course, I did some videos on my channel way back when the Blood Moon event was happening, which I believe was back in, I can't remember whether it was March or May, so a little time away now. However, that was how to port tokens using HASHPORT from Ethereum across to the Hedera token service. Now, of course, that was very costly because it involved gas fees. When SaucerSwap goes live on the 23rd of July, so literally 4 days away from me recording this and uploading it, you will be able to purchase DOVU tokens directly from the SaucerSwap interface itself on the exchange. Of course, that is the primary function of SaucerSwap. It is an exchange to exchange tokens. You will natively be able to exchange your Hbar for DOVU tokens and then take those DOVU tokens and stake them on the DOVU staking platform. It will literally be that easy. I'll have plenty of videos showing you guys how to navigate the exchange features, the liquidity pool features, the crop circles, as well as the yield farming features. Every single feature on that platform I will have videos for. I'll have some longer ones with multiple features being showcased, and then some shorter ones for some different types of strategies you can leverage with the tokens that you currently have, as there is a ton of opportunity. And as you know, the same as CHAINLINK-HEDERA's platform, it's sort of a first come, first served when it comes to the highest APRs or /APYs. You get the best rewards by being in those pools early. So make sure you're getting the drop on those by, of course, sticking around. Now, let's talk about what's going on with Hedera/Hbar and the amount of attention that it's receiving. So these are the latest results of the Real Vision Exchange crypto survey. So this was that Real Vision bot made by or owned by Raoul, and it's part of his portfolio. And what we can see here is that Hedera Hashgraph is now ranked at number 3 for overweight / portfolio position size for majority of these participants. Quite undecided supposedly about ranks 2 to 5. Previously, when I showed this, Hedera was somewhere around the middle with an overweight rating. However, this is beginning to increase. So we can see an overweight rating now of survey respondents at 0.3. You've got some at sort of neutral for let the bot decide. So obviously because these polls are effectively influencing what the bot tends to invest in. And we can see here a lot of people are saying overweight that Hedera position. They want more Hedera exposure. And then the other sort of 50% of that first 50% chunk are saying neutral, let the bot decide. And then of course there's some underweight and don't include in the portfolio. What we can see here though is the preference is leaning towards Hedera. You can see Bitcoin quite high there, Solana, Polygon, Ethereum, some of these, sort of larger cap coins, but Hedera is going toe to toe with the majority of those, which is again brilliant to see. Not only that, we are seeing some more serious developments across the ecosystem. One of the biggest announcements that we've seen for a while again now is HASHPORT and CHAINLINK. So CHAINLINK is one of my personal favorite interoperability solutions, along with Quant. Now, don't be mistaken, CHAINLINK and Quant are in a completely different ballgame when it comes to Hedera. Hedera is a layer 1 solution that has the ability for applications to be built on top of it. Link and Quant do not compete with Hedera natively whatsoever. They are effectively a bridge between different chains, and they act as sort of pipelines to funnel data to and from different layer 1s. So there is, of course, a world in which all of these exist at the same time. This is not like Hedera competing with Ethereum as a layer 1 status, or Hedera competing with Algorand. Completely different ballgame. I think a lot of people seem to get confused between these different projects when I speak about them. I'm talking about things which are complementary to one another. I don't tend to talk about layer 1 competitors. Anyway, I digress. HASHPORT is excited to announce the integration of Chainlink's Link token onto the platform. Now, of course, many of you may have used HASHPORT before. I've spoken about it at length in the past and even used it to get tokens from Ethereum across to Hedera. With this integration, the Link token can now be ported across HASHPORT supported networks. Therefore, Link can then be used on foreign networks for various purposes, including DeFi, yield farming, and many other decentralized applications. And this allows users to provide liquidity, collateralization, lending, or staking on DeFi protocols across supported chains. Of course, here a quick excerpt about what Chainlink is. It's a decentralized Oracle network built on Ethereum, which facilitates tamper-proof inputs, outputs, and computations to support advanced smart contracts on any blockchain. Chainlink dramatically expands the capabilities of smart contracts by enabling access to real-world data and off-chain analysis while maintaining the security and reliability of blockchain. And there's the difference. It's something that could be added in addition to some of these smart contract platforms on Hedera to gain access to real-world data and off-chain analysis. Obviously, that helps to do with sort of size and even further scalability. And this helps empower smart contracts and would further enhance Smart Contract 2.0 for potential dApps in the future that we see built on top of Hedera. Not only that, this goes hand in hand with those enterprise use cases, as many enterprise use cases that built on top of Hedera will need to access real-time, real-world data in order to integrate those directly for some of the services they may end up providing. So massive news for Hbar, and of course Chainlink as part of that HASHPORT service. Not only that, we are now seeing DAI, which is of course a stablecoin, to become the first multi-collateralized stablecoin in the Hedera ecosystem. So you can see MakerDAO's tweet here, enabling DAI on HASHPORT network. So it is another HASHPORT sort of initiative here. HASHPORT is the enterprise-grade public utility that facilitates movement of digital assets between distributed networks. This integration also welcomes DAI as the first multi-collateralized stablecoin on the Hedera ecosystem. And of course, this is brilliant to help flesh out that decentralized finance ecosystem that is currently being incubated and built with the likes of SourceSwap. We've obviously got stablecoins such as USDC, but choice really here is one of the best things. It helps you minimize your risk by holding different types of stable coins, and obviously gives you access to different features from each of those stable coins. So we'll have USDC and DAI, which is obviously brilliant. And again, this Twitter thread goes into why Hedera is obviously better than the rest effectively. But of course, Hedera being the most used enterprise-grade public network, this benefits DAI greatly for being available on chain. Obviously, it benefits the users as well. They need to diversify some of their stable coins, which again should be part of anyone's strategy to utilize stable coins wherever necessary. Another massive Hbar Foundation partnership as well has just gone live. So excited to announce that 𝗟𝗏𝗏 Foundation, the Swiss-based foundation, is moving its nature collectibles initiative onto Hedera network alongside all of its other DLT-based projects. Through Nature Collectibles initiative, 𝗟𝗏𝗏 are enabling a collect to conserve ecosystem on the carbon negative Hedera network. Nature collectibles are verifiable pieces of art connected to a conservation project of a protected area that enable the direct financing of conservation actors in these areas without the need for a third party. So boom, you heard it there, straight from the Hbar Foundation themselves. They were already turning the growing NFT scene away from just fun collectible JPEGs into real world tokenization of land areas. I'm not going to call them assets here because they're not really an asset, but it's literally in the sentence there. Verifiable pieces of art connected to a conservation project of a protected area that enable the direct financing of conservation actors. So a conservation actor here or a financing firm could come along and purchase this NFT to help give funds towards conserving this protected area of land, and that is being facilitated by NFTs. This is what I'm trying to get across and portray, that a growing NFT ecosystem on Hedera is actually a very bullish thing, whether or whether not you enjoy the fact that they are sort of worthless JPEGs at the moment. That is a byproduct of what happens when these spaces grow. However, think about it from the enterprise use case standpoint of tokenization of real world assets that Hedera is completely capable of and is doing as we speak. This is what you need to see, the bigger picture of when things happen. I know a lot of people at the moment are disgruntled with what's happening with NFTs on Hedera. They're worried it's going to make it a bit of a joke network similar to, say, Solana or something. It's not. It's all part of a bigger picture and a bigger plan that the Hbar Foundation and the Hedera community are striving for, and it all has those roots firmly in the ground alongside enterprise use cases and massive adoption going forward. Talking about that social sentiment then, Bitcoin and Ethereum pumping means the Hedera heat wave is about to get skyrocketed to the moon. Obviously, again, a lot of this is being facilitated by those Hbar NFTs and adoption via things like Zoo's marketplace. However, it's great to see that it's doing the rounds over on Twitter. Another tweet here from someone that I've never seen in the Hbar community before, but Hbar is criminally underrated with a market cap of only 1.5 billion compared to Solana's 14 billion or ETH's 180 billion. It has so much potential for growth, and hopefully a lot of you guys understand that from these videos that I've been doing for months now since the end of last year. Almost daily videos telling you guys about the benefits, the perks, the use cases, the scalability, and why Hedera Hashgraph is just the superior layer one. Wanted to quickly note for anyone that does enjoy NFTs, Panda, so Crypto Panda's NFT, they are doing another drop which will be coming out soon with MetaVision, nostalgic drop not to be missed. So it's the Panda Vision on Hedera, and it'd be via Hashpack app, of course, and then there'll be some whitelist spots and whatnot going on in the future. I urge a lot of you that if you are involved in this space and you're interested in the DeFi space, to make sure you get over on Twitter. That's where a lot of these early access things go live. And rounding the video up, we're going to talk about one other Hbar Foundation partnership. So again, for those of you that are not so much into NFTs or can't see the sort of use cases for them in the future, you won't like this one, but Hbar Foundation, Accelerating Hedera, one of the biggest foundations in the layer one space, has just announced another partnership with ACME Labs TM and the Chuck Jones Gallery for development of the Lost Rabbit NFT collection in the Hedera metaverse. So this is part of that metaverse narrative that they're pushing forward into the future. We can see the Chuck Jones Gallery and ACME Labs chose to build their Lost Rabbit NFTs not on Ethereum, not on Solana, but rather on Hedera. Obviously, part of that will be due to those fees, the scalability, and the throughput that Hedera enables directly. And of course, I urge you guys to check out Chuck Jones, but he was the creator of some of the most loved animated collections back in the sort of early 80s and 90s, maybe even earlier, like Tom and Jerry, etc. So really big collection to moving across onto Hedera. And again, it helps drive that adoption going forward. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, leave a like, drop a comment. Like I said, there will be plenty of videos coming from me in the next couple of days. Of course, I have some of those Plank Epoch NFTs, so I've got early access to SaucerSwap when that goes live for me on Thursday, and I will be dropping some videos for you guys showing you how to use it, so you've got the information available as soon as it goes live openly on the 23rd of July. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.